Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. There's the Twitter page. Go ahead and follow me at DFS Jerusalem. Tonight, we're going to be breaking down last night's 5-game NBA slate. It was a very interesting slate of games, a lot of low scores until we hit that late game, and go figure. The 6-7 point spread that was the first game on the slate turned out to be a massive, almost a 30 some odd point blowout. And the later game, the last game on the slate, turned out to be a 16.5 point spread, goes in being a very close game, right down to the very end, the very last shot. That is what you get when you are inside of NBA DFS, especially at this point in the season. Players are playing for different reasons right now. Coaches are coaching for different reasons right now than we saw in the middle of the season and especially in the beginning of the season. So we're going to see some different rotations. A lot of mixed up things are going to be going on. But as DFS players, I want you all to give yourselves a round of applause. I really want you to give yourselves a round of applause because if you've made it to this point in the NBA season, that means you have been around enough. You have been profitable. You have been around long enough to where only the good players are here. Only guys that really know what they're doing are still around at this point and still being profitable players and getting it in. So give yourselves a round of applause. We will be rolling into baseball very soon. As you know, I've gone ahead and taken that leap of faith. I'm going to be with you every day, all day. You're going to see major developments to the content of the YouTube show, as well as the new relaunching of the website. New software is going to be coming out. It's going to be a whole lot of new stuff. So I'm very excited about everything that's going on for the DFS Sweatshop right now. What you see now is the layout of the actual website. Go ahead and hit that up. It's www.dfssweatshop.com. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump into the regular formatting of the show. Normally, what I would do is I would go ahead and talk about my core 4 plays. But as you know, on slates 5 games or less, I do not issue out a core 4. I believe stacking is the very best way for us to get to the cash line. There were a few stacks that we did talk about earlier in the midday mix in the Facebook VIP. We talked about some of those Oklahoma City stacks. A lot of guys were Golden State, Philadelphia were teams that we talked about. A lot of great information being passed around in the DFS Sweatshop VIP and on the desktop chat as well. So go check those out. I didn't issue out that core 4, but what I did do, let's go ahead and talk about the feature 4 plays of the night. These are the 4 most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS Sweatshop, the Facebook VIP, and as well as on Twitter. We're going to start with the Who Dat scoring all them points over there play of the night. That's going to go to none other than Jahlil Okafor at 11% owned, 5.2K in salary. Dude goes out and drops 39.5 DraftKings points. Now, we've got to pay attention to what's going on because they traded away Nerlens Noel, knowing that Joel Embiid was probably going to be shut down for the rest of the season. This is Jahlil Okafor's opportunity to audition himself as a guy that they should keep around. They already are leaning towards that because they got rid of Nerlens Noel, so you know that they've got some sort of plan for Jahlil Okafor. The dude has a pretty solid offensive game, not much of a defender, but really solid game for him. This was right up his alley in a game like this against the Golden State Warriors at the Oracle. Gave him a chance to showcase the skill that he does have offensively. He definitely did do that. It was a really nice game we saw from Jahlil Okafor, and that is why he is the Who Dat scoring all them points over there play of the night. The next guy I want to talk about is the How Did I Miss That play of the night. Now, this is somebody who we talked about a lot in the Sweatshop. We talked about him a lot, and me and this dude have a love-hate relationships. He loves to go out and ball, and I hate to roster him. And that's why it fucking kills me. How do I continue to miss on Dario Saric, man? At 8.1K, 22% ownership. So everybody is smarter than me that was on him. Dude goes out and drops 50.75 DraftKings points. An excellent game we saw from Dario Saric. And, the heat check play tonight was assigned to guard this guy and couldn't do anything with him. And we talked about him a lot in the Sweatshop. I said, hey, man, for you guys that are on Saric, stay on him. Dude's playing very well. As soon as I roster him, he's probably not going to do shit, but this was an awesome game for Dario Saric. The next guy we're going to talk about is the heat check play tonight salute. It doesn't have to go to the guy that scores the most points, nor does it have to go to the guy that is the highest in salary. But tonight, it goes out to the guy that just went out and fucking balled. And we are talking about Draymond Green. He was the first guy on my mind when I woke up this morning at 24% ownership, 7.7K. Dude goes out and scores 62 DraftKings points. Now, I knew that with Robert Covington being limited in some way due to that injury, Saric was going to see most of the offensive usage when it came to the Philadelphia front court. What I also understood was that Draymond Green was going to be charged with guarding him. And there was a shift in the game where Jaja was just totally taken out of the game. It was all about Draymond covering Dario Saric, which he really could not do. But Draymond still had an awesome game. That's why tonight you are the heat check player tonight. Salute to you. Awesome game for Draymond Green. Now we must talk about that one motherfucker. Now coming in at 16% owned, 7.5K was the salary that you stole from us. You brought back 14.75 DraftKings points. So that tells us that your ownership was higher than your draft score. And whenever that happens, that means that you, CJ, Mr. McCullum, you ran off on the motherfucking plug. And for that, tonight, you's a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. Now I ain't gonna roster your bitch ass again. Let's get on with the rest of the motherfucking show. We have a huge 10-game slate coming up today. It is going to be a really nice one. I already looked. I did some scouring. I put together a few core combinations that I really like. Some things we're going to be talking about. I am going to issue out a core 4. I feel very confident that this can be a very profitable Wednesday. But let's go ahead and jump into a quick recap of last night's games. We're going to start with the first game on the slate. And the reason why we do this is because you've got to know where we're going if we want to know where we're going to go. Excuse me, where we've been, if you want to know where we're going to go. You've got to get a grip on where we've been, especially at this juncture in the season where players are really jockeying, or teams are jockeying for that playoff position. We're going to start in Cleveland, where the Cavaliers were hosting the Detroit Pistons. Very good game we saw from a lot of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The guys that weren't even very high salaried guys really had great games. It seems like all the scrubs kind of balled out tonight. That's just how it seemed. But we're going to start on the Detroit side. First, looking at Marcus Morris, 24 minutes for him, 13 and 7. Not a great game there from him. Andre Drummond did grab 14 boards, but he only scored 8 points and had 1 assist. And a lot of people were on Andre Drummond. I just did not like the matchup that he had with Tristan Thompson, knowing how active Tristan Thompson can be on the defensive end, especially getting those offensive rebounds as well, being very active in that fashion. And I didn't think that we were going to see a ton of rebounding and scoring opportunity for Andre Drummond. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope disappointed in his 26 minutes, 11 and 2, to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. And this guy was the blue balls guy. Like, he was balling. I was like, yo, KCP is going to hit it. And he just didn't. Just didn't have a great game. Ish Smith came off of the bench in 20 minutes and had 12 and 1 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. And we saw Reggie Jackson for a paltry 20 minutes. He only had 6 points, 1 rebound, and 6 assists to go with a steal. Not a great game there from him. On the Cleveland side, we can't forget about Tobias Harris, because in 25 minutes, he did score 17 points, had 2 rebounds, and 2 assists to go with the steal. Solid game there. On the Cleveland side, LeBron James, man, the king, man, went out and triple-doubled on him. It was a small triple-double, though. Was not worth the 11 grand that you paid for him on DraftKings, or the 11.2, I think, you paid for him on FanDuel. 28 minutes was all you had to see from LeBron James. He had 16 points, 11 boards, and 12 assists while shooting 50% from the field. Very solid game there from him. We saw a nice one from Richard Jefferson, who got the start in place of Kevin Love. In 25 minutes, he had 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals, shooting 55% from the field. Hit 4 of 7 3-point shots. Really solid game there. Kyrie Irving in 30 minutes had 25 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists. Pretty good game, but we just didn't see enough minutes from those guys, from those big stars. You didn't see enough minutes from them. Tristan Thompson in 26 minutes had 4 and 9 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. That was a fairly solid game for him at his price point. And J.R. Smith, man, in 22 minutes had 12 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, and 1 steal. But probably the best value we saw from this team came from Iman Shumpert. In 35 minutes, he had 18 points, 5 boards, while shooting 61% from the field. Hit 2 of 3 3-point shots. Very solid game there. And even Darren Williams got into the action in his 13 minutes off of the bench. He had 13 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, while shooting 100% from the field. 6 of 6. Very nice game there at that price point. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Brooklyn Nets at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, this game, was one of those games that was in danger of not even playing. And I'm glad that it did because it gave us exposure to a few guys that we really like, namely Russell Westbrook, another triple-double, a big one when it comes to the assists. He had 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 19 assists. Also had 2 steals and 1 block, and only shot 33% from the field, but he still had an awesome game because he got to the free throw line 13 times and converted 11 of those tries into points. He did shoot 2 of 7 from behind the arc. Not a great shooting game there from 3, but a very solid game. Got you 70-plus DraftKings points. That's exactly where you wanted to be on a slate like this one. Pretty nice game we saw from Taj Gibson. Him going back home. He is from Brooklyn. That was a narrative that was tossed around throughout the day. In 23 minutes, he had 17 and 8 with 1 steal and 1 block. Pretty solid game there. We saw a pretty good game from Vic Oladipo. In 32 minutes, he had 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 steals. Now, he started off very slow, but he picked up the pace around the second half. He just about made value. Was a very solid game there for him. Enes Kanter, in his 18 minutes off of the bench, had 17 and 5 with 2 assists and 1 steal. Didn't see a great game from Steven Adams, but in 29 minutes, he had 11 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Pretty decent game all across the board for a lot of the Oklahoma City Thunder. On the Brooklyn Nets, man, Karis LeVert in 23 minutes had 16 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, and 3 steals. And this dude is good. Karis LeVert is the real deal. He is a good player. I like him going forward. I can't wait to see what he's going to be next year if he does, get that solidified role in this rotation with the Brooklyn Nets. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson in 25 minutes had 6 and 4 with 1 assist, 2 steals, and 1 block. We saw Brook Lopez for about 28 minutes, and he had 25 points, 6 rebounds, and a steal. Pretty solid game there at his price point. Randy Foye, 13 and 1 to go with 4 assists and hit 4 of 6 field goals. Nice game from Jeremy Lin. He did get 26 minutes, so he was right around that target. We wanted him to get between 25 and 28 minutes in order to make that value for us. He played for 26 minutes, had 24 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists to go with a steal and a block while shooting 53% from the field. Hit all 6 of his free throws and 2 of 4 3-point field goals. Really good game there we saw from him. Not much else off of the Brooklyn Nets side. Moving on to the New York Knicks, my New York Knicks at home in MSG, taking on the Indiana Pacers. Very good game we saw from the homie for the Knicks side, but we're going to talk about the Indiana Pacers first, man. Nobody really balled out except for Miles Turner. Turner, in 30 minutes, he had 17 and 12 with 1 assist and 1 steal, also blocked 3 shots. Paul George had a decent game, but we needed to see more scoring in order to justify that $8.1K in salary on DraftKings. 38 minutes, he had 22 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot 9 for 22 for 40% from the field. He hit 3 of 8 3-point shots. We could have seen a much better game from behind the arc, which would have definitely improved his DraftKings score overall. Thad Young, not a good one at all, man. 4 and 6 with 1 assist and 1 steal. And Jeff Teague, what the hell happened with Jeff Teague? In the first quarter, the dude is like 6% owned in all of my single entry GPPs. He is 6% owned. He's got 14 points. I'm like, oh shit, I'm good. The dude finishes the game with 25 points. Horrible showing in the second half or for the next 3 quarters that we saw from Jeff Teague. Not a great game. He played 32 minutes, finished with 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting 4 of 15 from the field. That's 26%. Hit 1 of 6 3-point shots. We needed a much better scoring game in order for this guy to really make value for us. Not a great game there for him at all. Like I said, Miles Turner, great game for him. 17 and 12 with 1 assist, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. He was actually the best play from this complete game altogether when it comes to the money. On the New York Knicks side, nice game from Carmelo Anthony. Started off pretty slow, man, but he did play a total of 41 minutes in this game. He got a ton of run in this game, and that's exactly what these guys needed in order to really beat the Indiana Pacers and kind of make a great run to finish this game off. It was a really solid performance we saw from Carmelo Anthony, 22 and 13 with 1 assist and 1 steal. But the play from this game is going to be Willy Hernangomez, though. In 31 minutes, he had 13 and 16 boards with 4 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. Very solid game there. He shot 50% from the field, only hit 1 of 4 free throws. Could have had a much better free throw shooting game, but a great game from him nonetheless. We saw Derrick Rose for 31 minutes. He had 16 and 2. He with 4 assists. Pretty solid game there. And Courtney Lee, not a good one. 29 minutes for him. He had 5 and 7 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. Not a great game there. Next game I'm going to be talking about is the New Orleans Pelicans going to Portland to take on, the New Orleans Pelicans at home taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, they got the doors blown off of them, bro. This was just a horrible performance for the Portland Trail Blazers, man. And that's why we had the snowflake player tonight, Mr. TJ McCollum, with your snowflake ass. Jeez. Horrible game there from CJ, man. That really disappointed me because he's one of the players that I'm on the verge of really liking a lot, and he just took a few steps back with me. Like I don't. I mean, his game, you know, he's so scoring dependent and doesn't do much else. But I really thought this dude was a money scorer, and he just did not perform well tonight. In 30 minutes, CJ had 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, while shooting 33% from the field. Not a great game there. Noah Vonleh grabbed 10 boards and also had 3 points and 2 steals. Not a bad performance there from him. Dame Lillard in 31 minutes had 29 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Not a great game there, doing anything else but scoring. Didn't see much from Al-Farouq Aminu. He did have 10 rebounds, but he only scored 1 point. He hit 1 free throw and missed 3 field goals. Not a great game from him at all. Myers Leonard, 9 and 7 to go with 3 assists. He was probably a solid value play in this game as you look back on it. And hindsight is 2020. But on the New Orleans Pelicans side, we saw a pretty solid double-double from Anthony Davis. Not anything spectacular at the price point that he's at, but 15 and 15 to go with 2 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Pretty good game there. DeMarcus Cousins had 22 and 9 to go with 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. And this is what happens when both of these guys are on the court together a lot. Nobody is really going to go ham. Like, something has to happen in game to where one of them gets in foul trouble and you just get lucky because you got the other one. Or one of them kind of gets banged up and hurt and can't play a little bit of the game, so you got the other one. Like, that's what's going to have to happen. I mean, it's so hard to roster both of these guys because they eat up so much of your salary, whether you're on FanDuel or DraftKings or even Yahoo. They eat up so much of your salary that it's so hard to build a lineup that you really like, and you end up investing almost, 20% of, 30%, 25% or 30% of your complete bankroll, DraftKings salary just to roster these guys, and it's very hard to make a lineup that you like. But Solomon Hill in 30 minutes had 12 and 2, pretty solid game there. Also blocked a couple shots. Dante Cunningham 6 and 10, pretty solid game there. And the Jordan Crawford kid, man, in 22 minutes he had 13 points and 1 assist. Not a great game, but Tim Frazier, we had a Tim Frazier sighting. He had 7 points, 5 boards, 7 assists, and 1 steal. And Drew Holiday, where is Drew Holiday? Where's Drew Holiday? Horrible game, bro. 7K in salary. Goes out and in 26 minutes has 10 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and 3 steals. Not a great game there for him at all. The dude only took 6 shots the entire game. Like, why is this man not? If he's not shooting the ball, does that mean you're passing, or does that mean you're not even handling the ball? Like, what the fuck is going on? Horrible. Disgraceful performance. Very bad. Last game we're gonna talk about, and the late night hammer game, the game that everyone should have had a piece of. That was the highest point total perceived point total, as well as the highest perceived point spread on the slate. They were given up at 1.17.5 points. The line closed at about 16 on the Philadelphia 76ers side. Not a great game from Robert Covington, 7 and 9 to go with 3 assists and 2 steals. Also blocked the shot. Not a great game there. He was 1 for 8 from the field for 12.5%. That's not good at all. Not good at all. Dario Saric, man, 25 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. This dude is a 4-2 guy. He is doing everything. Like, who knew Dario Saric was this good? Who knew? Who knew Dario Saric was actually this good? Dude's a fucking beast, man. He's a beast. I gotta give it up. He's a really good young player. Rashawn Holmes had a really nice one, 14 and 8. He was 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Pretty solid there. Gerald Henderson in 19 minutes had 9 and 5. And TJ McConnell, man, had 10 dimes. Dished out 10 dimes, 7 rebounds, and 7 points. Was on a triple-double watch at one point in the game. Also had a couple steals, man. That was a pretty solid game there from TJ McConnell. On the Golden State Warriors side, man, Draymond, the heat check play. Did it all. Almost had a triple-double. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, 6 blocks. Yes. had an awesome game, bro. He only shot 33% from the field, but he did get to the free throw line 14 times and converted 11 of those into actual points. Pretty good game there. Klay Thompson jumped off of the bench. Excuse me, went and sat down on the bench for a long time. He dropped 28 points and just chilled. Like he dropped 28 easy, casual points, had 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Great game from him, but we just didn't see enough down the stretch of Klay Thompson. Steph Curry on his birthday, happy birthday, Steph. In 37 minutes, he had 29 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, and 3 steals. Pretty solid game there. Andre Iguodala off of the bench in 32 minutes had 7 and 1 to go with 3 assists. And we saw a very nice game from Matt Barnes. And I think this is just going to be Matt Barnes' role on the team. I think he's going to come in and in between, a full-on second-team run and a full-on starter run, he's going to come in and be the glue between those 2 areas and just go ahead and quietly get a double-double. 10 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal to go with an assist. No, he had 10 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Kind of filled the stat sheet up and only played 22 minutes. That's perfect because now you're going to see guys like Jaja Pachulia not play very much. There's going to be no need for him. Jaja played 12 minutes because they could easily shift Draymond over to the 5 and have a really solid power forward that could handle the ball. Whenever Draymond gets the rebound in transition, they could just go ahead and push it with the guy like Matt Barnes. So that was a very, very nice pickup for them. He's going to be a problem. I think if by some chance we see the playoffs start and Durant is back, like this could be a really big thing having Matt Barnes in the lineup. Even though I've heard reports or seen reports that says Kevin Durant may just be lost for the season, but hey, you never know. You never know. But man, Matt Barnes, really, really, really solid play. So now that we recapped last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into a very quick player pricing as it applies to tonight's 10-game slate. We're going to go ahead and jump in and do some quick slate recognition. Now, I already got this pulled up where you can see there's multiple contests in the start times and all of that jazz. But right here is where we're going to be. Is a 10-game slate that starts at 7 o'clock. You've got a 3-game turbo, another 3-game turbo at 8, so one 7:30 and one 8 o'clock. You've also got the 2-game late. Now, I say this a lot, and I really want you to understand this, man. Don't wait until you tilting in the 7 o'clock games to make a turbo lineup or a 7:30 or 8 o'clock turbo or a 10 o'clock late game. Because you know what? The research that you do in those instances is very minimal because you're just tilting like a motherfucker from the 7 o'clock and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to just throw some lineups in. And sometimes it does work. Sometimes you do cash. It happened to me the other night. But I would much rather you guys take a look at those and make some lineups in those and just have them there, reserved, waiting. Because when everybody tilts, they're going to throw all kind of shit in there. And you're gonna already have a leg up on the field because you're going to have some research to back up your picks. So make sure you take a look at those later slates or the turbos and really get invested in those. And if you really like the lineups you make, throw them bitches in the main, especially in the 10-game slate because so many people are going to be rostered so many different places that that condensed thing that you get from the 12-game slates, from the 3-game slate, that condensed attitude or that condensed player pool that you get. There's a lot of places where you just can't even go wrong. So take a look at that. So let's go ahead and jump into some player pricing. We're going to start, of course, just taking a look here at the highest salary guy. And you know what? I don't like to go position by position because I think that kind of undermines the whole game flow that we really need to know as DFS players, especially when it comes to NBA DFS. We need to understand game flow, and I'd rather you understand more about game flow and point totals than per position, because I don't want you to get trapped into, hey man, I can't roster this guy because he's not a point guard or he's not this player. Just pick the best players on the board, okay? So we're going to start James Harden at 12.6K. Very, very solid price on a guy that can go completely turkey ham. But you know what? Do you want to invest that much in a guy? See, I can look at it right now and looking at the slate. We've got the top 5 guys. We've got Harden, Towns, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi Leonard. All of those guys, there's a major drop-off from the next really good matchup from Harden and Towns, the next nice matchup that we see is probably going to be Giannis down here at 9.6K. So I can start my search of guys that I really want to get my player pool from Giannis on down, and just reserve these couple guys here for guys that I would want to get in my lineups as, those big anchor plays, like a guy that I want to anchor my entire lineup. And from already looking at this slate a little bit, I don't think we're going to need to have that stars and scrubs attitude, because number one, there's just not that many stars to pay up for, and number two, DraftKings pricing is very tight. You're gonna notice that as you look into it. DraftKings pricing is very tight on a night like tonight, so we've got to pay attention to that as well. So James Harden, he is in play for me. I think you can definitely rock with him. Karl Anthony Towns coming off of that big game. We like to attack the Boston Celtics, rebounding the basketball. Anthony Davis matched up against maybe some Hassan Whiteside, maybe. I don't have a problem with that. It says this is the first-ranked DVP against the power forward position, so he's going to be matched up against a couple of those Miami guys. I don't have a problem with that. Kawhi Leonard in a negative matchup at 9.8. And see, the beauty of this is, it's always a nice contrarian play to roster a complete stud in a bad matchup. And I don't have a problem with Kawhi Leonard. People are going to see that 6th-ranked DVP, and they're not going to want to roster Kawhi. I don't have a problem with him at all in San Antonio against a Portland team that just got their ass whipped. The only issue that I might have with that is I can imagine this game could blow out. It could very well blow out. Same thing with John Wall, man. At 9.7K, anytime I got John Wall on the 10K, he automatically deserves my consideration, especially since he's a stud in a bad matchup who a lot of people are not going to roster. The ownership has been down on him pretty much lately. I haven't seen him any more than 11% owned in the last few slates, so I'm going to take a look at that. Giannis, I think this is a good game for Giannis to snap out of that slump he's been in at 9.6K in a plus matchup. The game is in LA, but I still think Giannis can have a solid one out. DeMarcus Cousins is another guy. He's probably going to be matched up with Whiteside exclusively, probably. And 9.5K, that's a very fair price for DeMarcus Cousins. I'm in a situation where I would almost always choose Boogie over Brown, because if Brown goes down, Boogie is going to eat. And the chances of the old glass man being the glass man, are always really good. So that's somebody who I will always be taking a look at is DeMarcus Cousins. Jimmy Butler at 8.8. The price is down on just a bit, but in that matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies, even though the game is at Chicago, I do not like him very much. We've got Kemba at 8.6, a pretty solid price there for him. He's been playing pretty well on the road or at home, so I will give him some consideration, especially going up against that Jeff Teague defense, which is not a very good defense at all. I don't mind him. Isaiah Thomas matched up against Ricky Rubio should be a very solid performance there. I do like Isaiah Thomas in this matchup, and Eric Bledsoe at 8.4. People are not going to want to roster Eric Bledsoe tomorrow, and I think that's a mistake. I think he's going to go the fuck off at home against the Sacramento Kings. I like Eric Bledsoe a lot tomorrow. Paul George also deserves consideration. You know that the small forward and shooting guard position do give it up. The Charlotte Hornets do give it up to that position quite regularly. I have no issue rostering Paul George tomorrow, even in the back-to-back. Dame Lillard at 8.3. I'm not afraid to play point guards against the San Antonio Spurs. However, on a back-to-back, this team has not been playing very great basketball lately. I think they're going to have to in order to make this game an actual game. I think this game could get away from them and we not see a full run of minutes for a lot of these guys, a lot of the key guys. Chris Paul, another stud in a bad matchup. I'm going to have me some Chris Paul tomorrow. CP3 at 8.2K. What? Chris Paul at under 9? Closer to 8K? Give me some of that. I love that. That's one of my favorite plays on the slate right now. Hassan Whiteside, 8.1, matched up against Boogie, one of the better centers in the league, but it's not a great on-the-ball defensive center. And I think that Hassan Whiteside can win in this matchup at times, but the foul trouble is what would bother me, because Boogie is and Anthony Davis, they are so active on the low block. It's just so hard to invest that much salary in a guy that could pick up 2 quick fouls, and then my lineup is fucking dead. So I will not be rocking with Hassan Whiteside tomorrow, even though the matchup looks good on paper. Blake Griffin at 7.9. That's a very good price on Blake, but not in a matchup that I'm really interested in attacking. Bradley Beal at 7.7. I think in every line, I'm going to run probably 10 lines tomorrow, and I'm going to have Wall, Beal, or Wall and Beal in every lineup. Because one of these guys, one of these guys is going to really go off, or they both can go off together, especially against this Dallas Mavericks team at home. I like Bradley Beal a lot tomorrow. I also like Mike Conley if he's matched up against anybody that plays point guard for the Chicago Bulls. Like Rondo was on him. If Rondo starts again, I like him. If Jerry Grant can start, I like him. I love the spot that he's in. The game is in Chicago, so I think it's gonna add that little bump to where we see the home team keeping a little bit closer. I like him, and when I like Mike Conley, I immediately like Marc Gasol at 7.6. He's a play that I am definitely interested in tomorrow. I mean, who's gonna stop him? He's gonna be Robin Lopez? No, give me some Marc Gasol tomorrow at 7.6. D'Angelo Russell, we've got to find out if he's going to be back in the starting rotation or if he's going to be seeing, his 20 to 30 minutes. Because the last game, he just didn't play much, and he didn't get to start. Jordan Clarkson did, so I'm not going to be paying that premium price for a guy at 7.5K that's not going to be starting. Rick Rubio, the price is up on him just a bit, but man, the way he's been playing lately, just play fucking Ricky Rubio. Just play Ricky Rubio and match him with one of the guys in the front court. If you want to have a roster that's going to be Karl Anthony Towns heavy, where you put Towns and Rubio together. If you want to go Gorgie Jang and Rubio and pay up in other spots for other players, you can do that. But just get Ricky Rubio in your lineups and grab one of his teammates as well. Julius Randle, he's going to be looking to bounce back after that very poor performance at 7.3K. That's a little bit too rich for my blood. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I like Gordon Hayward at 7.2 a lot against the Detroit Pistons. This game is not in Utah, so it should stay close. I don't have a problem at all with rostering Gordon Hayward. Goran Dragic is a player that I really like. Matched up against a shitty defender like Drew Holiday, man. I have no issue with rostering Goran Dragic. We got to make sure he's playing because he did have a shiner. The eye was quite swollen. We need to make sure that he's still going to be ready to go. At 7.2K, no problem with that. I'm not a fan of Dion Waiters at 7.1. Drew Holiday is a no for me. I do not play point guards against the Miami Heat. I just don't like doing that. Nick Batum, if he does play, he is in consideration at 7K. That's a very fair price if he does play tomorrow. CJ McCollum is down to 7K. Not a play that I'm particularly interested in. Not against the San Antonio Spurs. Andrew Wiggins, I do like Wiggins at 6.9. He's somebody who you could pair Ricky Rubio with, or even like this. If you don't have Ricky Rubio in all your lineups, I think you need some exposure to the Minnesota guys. If you don't have Ricky Rubio and Jang in a lineup, maybe you go Wiggins over here, just so you can get a piece of that game. I kind of like that, and that's for if you're playing multiple lineups, you're gonna have to have some exposure to these guys going down the stretch. This is a young team still trying to make the playoffs. Very solid squad. I do like them a lot in this matchup. The Rudy Gobert at 6.9 is not a play that I'm really interested in. I think him and Andre Drummond coming off of that back-to-back are kind of going to cancel each other out. They're very similar price, 6.9 and 6.8. They both do very similar things. Rudy Gobert is a little bit better offensively. Andre Drummond cannot hit free throws. I'm not rostering either one of those cats tomorrow. I do like Yusuf Nurkic in some spots at 6.7 matched up against the San Antonio Spurs. There's really nobody that can stop them. The only thing that can really stop these Portland guys is if the game blows out. Devin Booker, man, the Phoenix Suns, I think they're in line to score some really good points tomorrow because the Sacramento Kings, man, are one of the worst teams in the league, and especially against the shooting guard position. They give it up to the shooting guard, to the guards, period, to point guard and shooting guard. They give it up to them. And 6.7 for Devin Booker, a guy that's kind of scoring dependent but can go out there and have a really solid game. I do like him tomorrow. DeAndre Jordan is another one of my favorite plays on the slate at 6.6. Now, all right, there's a few reasons why I like DeAndre Jordan. Number one, he's 6.6. He's under 7K. Number one. The number two reason why I like him is because I don't like Blake Griffin. I don't think Blake is going to have a great game tomorrow. But the single biggest reason, the third reason, the biggest reason why I like him is I love me some Chris Paul. And when I love me some Chris Paul, I love me some DeAndre Jordan as well. Jeff Teague at 6.5 is not a play that I am particularly interested in. Not matched up against Kemba Walker and that Charlotte Hornet backcourt defense. He's not a play that I really like. Marvin Williams, man, 6.5K. What are we gonna do with Marvin Williams? I think you just play him until the streak runs out because he's been playing very hot lately, and I don't think that Frank Kaminsky is gonna come in and automatically just steal a bunch of time from him. So I think you can play Marvin Williams tomorrow. Harrison Barnes is interesting to me at 6.4. If this game does stay close and competitive, it's because Harrison Barnes has a good game. I have no issue with him. Lil Bruh is not somebody who I'm very interested in at 6.3. I do like Allen Williams at 6.3 tomorrow, facing maybe Costa Kubas if he starts, or Willie Cauley-Stein. I like that. Dwayne Wade at 6.2 is not a player that I'm interested in at all. Dirk Nowitzki does deserve consideration at 6.2 if we find out that Nerlens Noel is not going to be playing. Darren Collison at 6.2. The price is up, and a lot of that stemmed from the mass exodus of players we saw from Sacramento when everybody just sat the fuck out. And I think that, you know, him having that 48-point game in lieu of all of those other guys not playing is what did that. Do I think that the guy can go out and hit that 5 to 6x value for me at 6.2? Up against any other team, probably not. But the Phoenix Suns are really bad against point guards. So I can get into a little bit of Darren Collison. At 6.1, we've got Otto Porter. Pretty solid play there. I'm going to ignore that DVP matchup, man, because, you know, I just like Porter tomorrow. I think he's due. I think he's due for a solid game. Chris Middleton at 6.1 is a fairly solid play. The price went down from 6.6 to 6.3 to 6.1. I think that's a very fair price for him. I will give that some consideration in my roster builds. George Hill at 6K. I do like that. I'm not afraid at all of Detroit perimeter defense. I'm not. I'm just not afraid of that at all. And even though it's the 8th ranked DVP, I think that's going to hold people off of him. But at 6K, you don't need a major monster game from George Hill in order for him to return value for you tomorrow. I think he can do that without much of a problem. Markieff Morris is at 6K, and I like him a little bit more than I do like Otto Porter, so I probably will shift some of my ownership in that direction. TJ Warren at 6K. As long as he's 6K or less, I'm going to play him. I kind of like him tomorrow. Pat Bev at 5.9. Let's just say this game blows out. Let's say this game blows out. Houston blows out the LA Lakers. Pat Bev's going to see some run. And I like Pat Bev. Either way, I like him. Jordan Clarkson at 5.9 is not a play that I am particularly interested in. I do love Avery Bradley. As long as Avery Bradley is under 6K, I'm going to keep rostering him. James Johnson is a player that I've been leaning on quite a bit this season. I do like him tonight. Al Horford at 5.7 is another player that I kind of like. I like the spot that he is in. You know that Minnesota is not that great in the front court, especially with a mobile guy that can get out and transition, get some rebounds, and really start some breaks. I don't have a problem with Al Horford at all tomorrow. I don't want any Tobias Harris. Lou Williams, the narrative. Now, this narrative isn't as juicy as it would have been if the Houston Rockets were going to LA to play, but just the fact that the Lakers are coming to Houston, Lou Williams' new home, I think that they're going to give him the ball. They're going to want him to score. They're going to want him to play well. And I think he's going to want to play well. And for that reason, I will have some Lou Williams in my lineups. Frank Kaminsky, does he look to be completely healed at 5.7K? That is a big discount from the Frank Kaminsky that was tearing it up a few weeks ago and was almost 7K in salary. So you can give him some consideration. Miles Turner at 5.7. They are on it back-to-back. This is a young kid. It doesn't really matter to him. I think he's going to have a solid game, rebounding on the basketball at home against the Charlotte Hornets. We can give him another crack. Tyreek Evans is dead to me. I will not play him again. I don't care what the fuck is going on. I'm not playing him. I'm just not. Jeremy Lamb shot to 5.6. But reports are that Nick Batum probably is going to play. So there's no way that you can roster Jeremy Lamb at 5.6. Paul Gasol at 5.6 does not look very appetizing to me at all. Neither does Willie Cauley-Stein at 5.6. Straight Crowder's a no for me. Nerlens Noel is questionable. If he does play, I kind of do like him. Clint Capella is always in play for me against the LA Lakers. They are very bad against centers at 5.5. You can look to him. Tyler Johnson is a no for me. David Lee, yes. Give me some of that David Lee. We know we're not going to be seeing LaMarcus Aldridge, man, with his heart condition. So we can definitely look to David Lee. And he's power forward and center eligible. So that's somebody that we can definitely look to. Next, Reggie Jackson is a no. No, not at all. Markieff Morris, no. Zebo, I like Zebo tomorrow. Matched up against the Chicago second team in some spots. Going to see a little bit of Robin Lopez whenever he plays with the first team. I like him at 5.4. I kind of wish the game was at the Grindhouse because you know he balls out there. But against the Chicago Bulls, man, which was one of the best rebounding teams in basketball until Taj Gibson was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think Zebo has a really solid game. Eric Gordon, not a player that I'm particularly interested in because I think that Lou Will is going to do most of the damage for the second team off of the bench for the Houston Rockets. Rajon Rondo at 5.3. No, I'm not doing that. No. Ivica Zubac at 5.3. The price is finally up on him. If he starts, I'm going to give him consideration. If not, no. Patty Mills at 5.3. If we know we're not going to see DeJounte Murray and we're not going to see Tony Parker, he's in the same situation. I think we can look to him at 5.3. I don't have a problem there. Gorgui Dieng is one of my favorite mid-salary guys. Not men, but mid-salary guys on the slate. 5.2K because I love Ricky Rubio tonight. But I don't necessarily want to pay up in so many spots for Karl Anthony Towns. And I think that Gorgui Dieng can kind of, attack the Boston Celtics, rebound the basketball, and also play well because he correlates very well with Ricky Rubio. So I'm going to be going with that tandem in a few spots. Plus, I want to get my Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan on as well. And if I go Rubio Towns, that kind of cancels that out for me. I'll be straight stars and scrubs at a certain point. So I want to keep it a little more balanced on a slate like this one. So Greg Monroe is a no for me at 5.2. Marcus Smart is a no for me. Kentavious is a no. Trevor Ariza at 5.1. I know it's a 10th ranked DVP, but if this game does blow out, it's because guys like this are knocking down shots. I like him, and I like Ryan Anderson in some spots too at 5.1K. MKG is not a player that I'm particularly interested in. Neither is Cody Zeller, even though it's a very positive DVP ranking against the Indiana Pacers front court. I still just don't want to invest too much into the Charlotte Hornets front court. I just don't. Al-Farouq Aminu at 5.1 is a no for me. Of course, Derek Favors is going to be out tomorrow. And Marcin Gortat at 5K is not a player that I'm particularly interested in. Brandon Ingram is a no at 5K. I'm not interested in him. Wesley Matthews is no for me. Ryan Anderson, yes, 4.9 for Ryan Anderson. Give me some of that. I also like Marcus Chris at 4.9 as well. Going up against these Sacramento Kings at Phoenix, I like that. Yogi Ferrell is not a player that I'm particularly interested in, but he's so cheap at 4.8K. Matched up against John Wall. Ricky Rubio just destroyed John Wall. He doesn't play very great defense. If he's and see, this is the hard part when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks backcourt. Number one, they can be playing in fairly low team totals. That team is not always slated to score a bunch of points. The next thing is you've got so many mouths to feed. You've got Lil Bruh. You've got Gigi Barea coming back. You've got Devin Harris. You've got, of course, Yogi Ferrell. Like, there's so many guys, so many mouths to feed in the Dallas backcourt that it's very hard to roster any of them with complete confidence. And I just probably won't have any of him. Malcolm Brogdon at 4.8. If he gets to start, I am not afraid of Chris Paul defensively right now. I'm just not. I don't think that the team is playing good enough defense off the ball in order to back Chris Paul up in spots, because Chris Paul usually sticks tight to the offensive player, runs him into a block shot, or runs him into a steal, or perhaps steals the ball from himself. And he's just not been playing that great defense, and the team has not been playing very great team defense. So Malcolm Brogdon at 4.8K does interest me. So does Ty Lawson at 4.8K. Like I said, the Phoenix Suns give it up to that position. I have no issue rostering him there. Rodney Hood is a no for me. Josh Richardson, if he does get to start for some reason, we can look to him. I think last time he got to start because Goran Dragic was out, I think. And Dragic will probably play, so we can steer the car away from Josh Richardson. Tyler Ulis, 4.7. He deserves consideration for me because he's going to be backing up Eric Bledsoe. We know that there's no more Brandon Knight. He is completely out of the rotation. Maurice Harkless has been playing horribly lately. Don't think he bounces back. This is not a good team to bounce back on, the San Antonio Spurs. Buddy Hield at 4.6 minutes are trending up. I kind of like some of him tomorrow. Bojan Bogdanovic has not been playing well after the last two games. He came to Washington shooting the lights out, but over the last two games hasn't seen that same production that we saw in the beginning. I would rather save $100 and rock with Namia Bjelica. He has been balling out lately. I'm finally going to join that train. And we've got Jordan Crawford at 4.3. The price is kind of up on him a little bit. That's not a guy that I'm too interested in. I do like Thaddeus Young, though, tomorrow. Because, of course, we can attack the Charlotte Hornets rebound in the basketball. And I'm going to play Thaddeus Young. He's going to have a double-double at this 4.3 price point at some point in the near future. And I think it could be tomorrow at home against a poor rebounding squad like the Charlotte Hornets. Jermichael Green is a no for me. Robin Lopez, no. CJ Miles, yes. I like him against the Charlotte Hornets. They give it up to the shooting guards. Tony Snell at 4.2 is not a player that I'm interested in, but I do like Kelly Olynyk at 4.1. Tony Allen is, yes, he deserves consideration for me, because Tony Allen is probably going to see a ton of defensive usage. He's probably going to be the one tasked with guarding Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is going to have the ball in his hands most of the game. That means Tony Allen is going to be on the court a lot. He's going to have opportunities for steals, for rebounds, for blocks. So I do like Tony Allen in this spot at 4.1K. Larry Nance is a no for me. JJ Redick is a no for me, even though he is so cheap. That is very cheap for JJ Redick. That is cheap for JJ Redick. I have to reconsider that. I will. Jaylen Brown is a no at 4K. I don't like him very much. Ish Smith is down to 4K. Don't like that. Vince Carter had a monster game out last time. Probably not going to get the start. You might see Chandler Parsons, but if Vince Carter does get the start again, hey, who's to say he can't do it again, man? I'll take my chance on him, especially against the Chicago Bulls, man. A very poor team altogether. Bobby Portis is probably going to get the start tomorrow at 4K. That's very cheap to ignore. We've also got Jamal Crawford at 4K. Could be one of those late night hammers for you off of the LA Clippers bench. But the guy that I kind of like in this game, man, that's very cheap and probably is going to be the first guy off of the Clipper bench for me, is going to be the coach's son. I kind of like Austin Rivers right here at 3.5K in a really, really good spot. I think at home he's gonna be. I think they're gonna be playing well, and we're gonna see a fair amount of minutes. I think let's check out his over the last few games for him. We've got he's averaging 25 minutes per game. Okay, cool. I like it. Yep, 10 game log for him. Yep, against Utah. Last time out, played 26 minutes, had 19 DraftKings points. I don't have a problem with that at all. I kind of like Austin Rivers tomorrow as a salary saving option, somebody cheap that we can rock with. So let's go ahead and find that 3K play of the day. The guy at 3K that we can look to if we are just in a pinch and we're trying to get some roster space. Who is a guy that we like? We got Joffrey Lavergne. Check out his last few games. He got 17, 16, 29, 3. No, that's not good. That's all we like. Felicio, he's been seeing quite a few minutes lately, I believe. 14, 21, 22, 13, 17, 18.25. That's not bad, especially matched up against the Memphis Grizzlies, a team that they're going to have to, call in some reinforcements to do some rebounding. That's not bad. But on a state like this, I don't think you have to have a guy at 3K because there's really nobody to pay up for. But if there was like some overwhelming, crazy value that just jumped off of the page that we really loved, like somebody was going to be starting because at 3K, then that's something we could look at. But we don't have that on tonight's slate. We've got the highest salaried guy. The highest salaried guy is James Harden, and then Karl-Anthony Towns. So that's how I'll be rocking tomorrow. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the point totals for tonight's slate. We got Dallas 207.5 is the point total right now, with the Washington Wizards at home giving up 7.5 points to the Dallas Mavericks. I don't have a problem with that. That's a good one there. We're not going to go too in depth because we did that during the player pricing where we developed our player pool. And what I want you to do from there is once you develop your player pool, I want you to go ahead and grab your core 4 plays from that. And from that, go ahead and start to build your rosters. So by the time we meet tomorrow in the midday mix, you'll have your player pool, you'll have your core 4. We can go ahead and chop up plays, and then we can follow through with the next 2 steps of that core 4 roster building strategy. 8-man on DraftKings, 9-man on FanDuel. Then we got the Boston Celtics. It's a 210.5 point total, with the Boston Celtics at home giving up 6 points to the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's going to be a great game. That's a 7:30 start time. We've got the Utah Jazz going to Detroit to take on the Pistons. That is the lowest point total on the slate, I believe, at 199, just under 200. I probably won't have too much exposure to guys in this game, just for fear that the point totals are going to be so low that you're not going to get that bang for your buck. We've got the New Orleans Pelicans going to Miami. That's a 208 point total. Not a bad point total for these teams. I'm going to have some investments in this game as well. We've also got the Memphis Grizzlies going to Chicago. 201 points is the total. This is another low point total with the Memphis Grizzlies giving up 2 points. So that means Chicago Bulls are the home dog. Sometimes there's a little bit of fight in the home dog. So we can take a look at this game too and really get some guys in there. Now, here's the game that is going to make or break us, man, because if what happens tonight, happens last night, happens tonight, where it's a 17-point spread and so many people avoid the game and they go out and they keep it close, like that's really gonna hurt, man. It's a 234.5 point total with the Houston Rockets giving up 17 points, man. And does that say that you can roster James Harden, or does that say that you can roster the guys around James Harden to get access to that big point spread? If you just want access to the point total, roster James Harden. If you believe in the point spread, you roster guys around James Harden. So that's a very big point total, very big point spread. The next game is going to be the San Antonio Spurs at home hosting the Portland Trailblazers. This is a 212.5 point total, with the Portland Trailblazers receiving 10.5 points. That's a lot of points to give up, especially with how San Antonio's not been playing like extra awesome lately. They haven't been playing extra awesome lately, but the Portland Trailblazers have not been playing well at all. And I think there's a really good chance this game could blow out. I think it could blow out. So the next game is going to be Sacramento Kings at the Phoenix Suns. It's a 221.5 point total. That's a very nice point total, and it's very hard to roster King guys because Dave Yeager is a dick bag, and it's very hard to roster these guys. If you remember the other night, man, had lineups ready to go. We had Carly Stein was in the core 4, and I liked them in that spot because I knew he was going to be going up against second team guys. And we had, I had Tyreek Evans in there. I was feeling really good about that. And at the last minute, bro, all of these guys are just resting. So it's very hard to roster these guys. I would lean more toward the Phoenix backcourt if I wanted to roster guys in this game. That's where I would go. So it's a very, very, very tough to roster the Sacramento guys. -6 is the point spread. Not a huge point spread, so the game could stay close. You got a 221.5 point total. The one thing that's going to come from this game is you're going to see Buddy Hield, because they apparently love Buddy Hield. You're going to see Buddy Hield. You just are. So I have no issue with rostering him as well. Last game on the slate, the late night hammer game, and I love it when I can get Chris Paul under 9K in a late night hammer game. I don't think he's going to be very highly owned. People are going to see that negative DVP and not want to roster him. But they give it up 8 points at the crib to the Milwaukee Bucks. I kind of like Giannis in this game, and I like Chris Paul. And if I like Chris Paul, I like DeAndre Jordan. So I'm going to have a lot of exposure in my lineups to this game and to those guys in this game. So very, very, very solid shit here, man. Very solid shit. Really looking forward to the state. Going to be a nice one. I am your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. I am going to be signing off today, right now. We're signing off right now, and just taking a moment to thank you so much for everything you've been doing for us here in the sweatshop. How important you are, man. Thank you so much. There are many ways to support the show. You are actually supporting the show in its purest form by giving me a voice here on YouTube. But if you want to support the show further, go ahead and click that box over there. It says support the show. Also, if you want to become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop, all you got to do is very simple. Go to the website, www.dfssweatshop.com. That's where you receive all the tips and tricks and toolage that will turn you into a profitable daily fantasy sports player. Also, it will usher you into the very best Facebook group online where we go in and chop it up. I have been doing pre-lock stuff. I've been doing the midday mix every day where we chop it up. I kind of open it up to the guys on Twitter every now and again. But man, it's a very good time to be in the sweatshop. Baseball is rolling around. We're going to be jumping right on into that. So thank you so much for everything you do. And the number one thing that I want you to do is keep it 300.